part of what we're looking at here in terms of states is often a relation to spirit in first person. But there is, of course, spirit in second person and spirit in third person. And as soon as there's manifestation, being used the Vedanta version, as soon as there's manifestation, it goes from near guna, without qualities, to saguna, Brahman, spirit with qualities. The qualities that are usually given in places like Vedanta are being, consciousness, and bliss. And that's fine. And another good translation for bliss is happiness or joy, just so you know how to relate to it. Some people don't feel they have bliss in their lives unless they time their drugs.
Think wise like inked eyes, peer deep into them, sink and rise like ghost ships on the pier, sleeping on flows potent and so sick. Comatose kids awaken, slake your thirst when I make verses. Hate bursts from the seams, taste the curse in your dreams. Plague monks, blaze skunk. Find your inner bliss as the bass thumps. Taste the thunder and pace drunk in the basement asunder till you wake up. Lace cuts, spray dust all over the track. Cosmic remnants, watch my descendants rise and fall to the surprise of all. My bride calls, I peer into her ink eyes enthralled. Stare and blink, prideful draws exuding. I'm one of the best tutors, best you like supermen with Lex Luthers. Vex ruthless men with hex sutras. Render my text, soup them, blend them like blessed soups, then send them to test troops. I'm zen and you're left duped by men with Lex Coops. Invest in suits, invest in your roots, or rest in your boots. Rust in peace, combusted pieces, busted thesis. You blush as I'm meeting, thrusts and you're bleeding. Crush the deceiving, clutch the receiver and listen attentively. Glisten intensely like visions of Enki, flowing agua like potent narcotics from Nicaragua. This is Shastra Vidya like Rudraksha with idioms. Akashic millennium, bending the time-space continuum. Hanuman's the divine face of simians, the shining grace of obsidian. Inside my ink eyes is the brink of your demise. Think wise but think quick, or sink in the quicksand. Ink strands and writs branded as heretic banters. Clerics and answers don't go together, they perish in lanterns. They glow like diamonds in coal mines. Cherish your mantras, verily you can't progress without them. Doubt men and love women without sin. Drug dens, clouded visions, thug pens and crowded prisons. Loud as the rhythm on a rowdy mission. Shrouded symbols, endowed with Dow pencils. Now is essential, find it before it's lost in the blinded hoar frost. Soar like moss on an ancient dragon with stone scales, patiently dragging his bone meal. Hone skills for lone kills, atone and wield a stone wheel. Roam on your pilgrimage, alone in the wilderness. Holy cold heat, soul shinobi. Roll till you know peace, there's no beast but the one inside you. Stun your rivals, shun the Bible, read the blueprints. You don't need my 2 cents, so I'm offering truth and sense. Rude and tense, so I brewed this densely. Who are you to tempt me? Tempt fate, I know my destiny. Etheric templates, my soul is professing these pen statements. Hear it and hem greatness till your spirit is centered at the apex.
Whispering in my ear, it appears a tidal wave has laid the house above to rest. It's engulfing everything, and now everyone is next. I grabbed the leather bag, holding all our vital text. Ran to the edge of a cliff without a choice, I just leapt. Seemed like 100,000 years when I woke that I slept. There was some sleeping around me, they awoke as I stepped. We were deep inside a cavern, the only few left of our kind. We agreed without a word in our universal mind. Our culture lives only through us, and we must teach it in time. We chose to spread our words through the art of the rhyme. We knew now to write our lines, desperation the sign. We aligned to bring you forces to awaken dormant realms, to transport you to a state that at first will overwhelm. Tease your eyes with flashing lights like effects in a film. We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash with the Atlanteans. Ageless lit by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree. We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash with the Atlanteans. Ageless lit by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree. dozen fallen comrade ghosts guide us on our path. Spirits speaking from the grave, bodies crushed by Earth's wrath. Telepathically they speak, remembering lessons from the past. They're behind us when we walk, the shadows that the sun casts. Our missions never cease, walk forever, never sleep. Seek to empower the meek, through the heartfelt words they speak. A week is like an hour, see it racing past our eyes. Jump and see the earth turn, fight the world's demise.
They had paranormal abilities far more advanced than those of ordinary mortals. Through their higher vibrating chakras and energy centers in the physical body, they were still able to make use of their 5 higher senses. They were clairvoyant, clairaudient, clear feeling, clear touching, and clear smelling. Furthermore, they had the gift of magnetism, which they were able to use to heal people.
Rising from an underwater pyramid, ghost army eeriness in my water orb. Raise octaves in storms of weariness. Souls pour from the deepest wisdom. Heed my vision as holographic snakes try to impede my intuition. My skin tones, crimson built folds got me flipping. A Chiba monk needing skunk to mold my provisions. See my chariot spinning like a balanced gyroscope. A macabre meditate until a new sky's exposed. I ride the globe like a tsunami wave surfing. A lost Atlantean army explodes out of clouds bursting. Swords raining, no more training. We in battle, the sun eclipsed the moon. Consume you in a shadow. Brain waves of cattle are intercepted now. Offer some insight from the center of my crown chakra. One mind now merges with apparition insurgents. Reverse brainwashing, a tide caused by detergent.
We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash. We're the Atlanteans, angels led by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree. We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash. We're the Atlanteans, angels led by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree.
I've seen Atlantis rising, praying like a mantis, guided by stray phantoms, abiding by clay mantras. Why do I say answers that lie in spaces, enchanted abysses like ancient Atlantic ridges? I pace and dance on bridges between your synapses, spinning backflipping dreams on a different axis. It seems that our mystic pasts are hidden as we drift in blasphemous rifts. Madness's mask is bliss, but I lift you with astral drafts that bless you with acid flashbacks celestial. Vegetables replenish my mental like these sentences I sent you on sentient instrumentals. Were meant to be instrumental in this century's transcendental transmutation of consciousness. Launch and lift like rocket ships on ancient plains, made of rock split by Mason's strange forebearers, forging terribly toxic materials, nauseous and arrogant. They brought us to perish, but we survived the cataclysm. Inscribed our data and wisdom, transcribed on tablets that glisten. Thoughts spoken bars as we wrote and actively listened. The path of the mystics wrought in quotes for those that lost hope and sought dope as a remedy. Most of our enemies thrive off the energies of lives lost from entities that writhe and cough, mentally choked by this density's hopeless propensity for locusts and other pestilent species. We're meant to be breathing weeds and herbs, to be relieving our seasoned nerves. Our deeds and words induce speechless trances, telekinesis, mantras, and secret dances, till you reach the answers that you seek and chant them to the trees and in mansions. Breathe them and champion the meekest of man's sons and daughters. Shun the slaughter of animals and all sentient beings, from mammals to densities unseen in the annals of Akashic realms. Watch these gnostic spells unfold like the sun glows.
We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash. We're the Atlanteans, angels led by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree. We walk across the clouds, astral project in our sleep. We move about in peace without beliefs as a leash. We're the Atlanteans, angels led by channeling nature's chi. Modern sages teaching knowledge from the forbidden tree.
We're like insects with toxins and pesticides. We adapt to their sins and hexes, grow stronger and more resistant minds and bodies. Like centipedes, spinal noddies, we will find the Mahdi. Imam Ali will guide us with Baha'i prophets. Many prophetesses will shine like Shadia from Mansur to Druvi in Persia. Who are these persons who rule us with the worst of doctrines? We do not grasp that the path of Buddha and Tara is to be a student of Gaia. Respect every level of sentience on your trek to the heavens. Suffering and cruelty is unavoidable, so truly minimize it. Listen to the voices within that cry, don't dim and disguise them. Hear the trees speaking and the creatures of their regions. They are their guardians. Do not slaughter or treat them with poisonous pesticides. They are not pests at all. We are the pests and liars. Like monstrously wretched convicts, they will rise up in legions as we were meant to fall. Like the regions that direct our talk and actions with awkward maxims. All of this is not but accurate. They know not what my soul wrought. My heart is the axiom, presided by Martin Bastet, Nut and Neftis, Stephen, Geb, Thoth and Amen. With King Diamond, Tutankhamun, I am Anthony of Egypt, guided by the calm of time. Sanskrit speeches of Isis to provide me solace. I have no guises at all, yet I am also all of them. We are legion. I am anonymous, breathing the weeds of Chinese doctors, eating CBDs from phoenixes, crying softly, dying and reborn each morning when the night is gone. Sweet songs to greet the mournful with meek thoughts from unchartably deep waters, depths and fathoms. I am ear in the depths of chasms. 1,000 bars, my house is water in a blessed cabin amidst Atlantis. I was all but forgotten, they saw not, but I stretched the canvas. A topaz temple for goddesses, mesmers aquatic with sephirothic tablets, gently casting halos upon a floor of gorgeous quartz, reflecting auras radiating the entire spectrum like magic jinns and angels cast in the dark for sorcery. Thought of as blasphemy, but what is darkness and what is a pagan? What is an animistic native? Say no to Christianity's pages that slaughtering brave borderless strangers and sought to enslave them with their dogmas knavish. We do not follow the same prophets, define what they call falsehood when their guises are products of lies. I am akin to all the so-called whores of Babylon they despise. Hades is rising till it aligns with Pleiades Martians. Maybe they conquered our minds and poisoned our bodies, slaughtered our kind and poised us as zombies. But lately all of us are walking aligned. They will not stop at this time. What is coming is beyond their horrible asylum's capacities. Hear the humming of eons of sirens, masterpieces, drumming songs of immortal islands, everlasting speeches. Drumming songs of immortal islands, everlasting speeches.
Please take me away. Do you dream though where I can feel safe? Hit a patter of my heart, man, I feel awake. Just loose dream away from leaving this place. And I wish and pray that I can say, flying high in the sky, this world is mine, to build, to create, to fill and to paint. Nothing could go wrong in this dreamscape. And I could play for hours, yet it feels like days. I can feel a shower, yet I can't see the rain. If I can think it, then it appears. Isn't this great? Abandon all fears. I see my old friends and some new too. Ask them how they do without singing a tune. Pray for clear skies and along comes the sun. I'm laughing and smiling, feeling at one. The world's at my fingertips, what shall I do? And all of a sudden, a light shines through. A light earthquake to make me come to. Open my eyelids to a new view. I wanna go back to where I belong, where the dream is reality and life is like a song. If I can think it, I can just play along. Instead of living life where I feel so wrong. I wanna just return to where I feel free, to live in ignorance and harmony. If I could live forever like in my dream, instead of living life on stress and
I have lucid dreams where the truth is seen and beauty is scenes. I battle putrid demons and defeat them, unravel my speech and sing these secret hymns for my bleakest kin and the meekest jinns. We can't fathom the sweetest things, cause we live in a nightmare with bright stairs. What we're given is quite clear. We have limitless imaginations. You can envision it right here as vividly as you grasp it. It's changing in a split second, raining bliss in this message. Listen as she blesses you with visions celestial. Enter the hidden vessel vestibule of her divine mansion. Quest and you'll find answers and lessons and rhyme mantras. Fly in your dreams as high as these gleanings. Divine the meaning of life in signs and readings of light from the immortal goddess of hope and compassion. Snorkel in the cosmic ocean and bask in its flawlessly potent matter, like swallowing an open flask with the artist's potion. Sadness is a karmic notion, transcended and blend with the eternal, and be endlessly supernal.
Go back to where I belong, where the dream is reality and life is like a song. If I can think it, I can just play along. Instead of living life, I feel so wrong. I wanna just return to where I feel free, to live in ignorance and harmony. If I could live forever like in my dream, instead of living a life of stress and need.
Walk the forgotten realms and unlock them as I drop these spells to freeze hells. Wafting breezes, smells strangely uplift you. Delve into your brain tissues, change and shift you till you reach higher abodes and admire the souls of its residents, glowing effortless. Bold denizens showing messages of olden vestiges, golden premises. No nemesis contends with this. From Genesis to Exodus, I flow testaments with no precedent. Knowledge colossal to abolish imposters. Poly with rosters, doctors and prophets. I'm washing your optics, we're all divine. You can fall or shine for all time. Smaller minds won't condone this, they stone you in a lonely pit. But if you hone your gifts, you'll transcend the realities of Maya. The fallacies of liars, don't let them overtake you. Soberly slake your thirst for wisdom on this sacred earth. You're given a place and purpose. Face the worst of your fears. Your disgraced and cursed peers, nurse them and clear their curses. Don't veer from the path to enlightenment. Don't fear the wrath of the titans. The task of the Almighty is to make you bow in His presence. But how could the heavens agree to this perversion? Your freedom's in these words. Nurture their worth like demons. Nurture their curses, but in an opposite sense. We're all prophets in a sense. Self-prophecy is destiny. Those mocking this will wretchedly suffer from the breaths of their cussing and be left with nothing. The breadth of my discussions is staggering like a dagger in your abdomen. I bust this and batter haggard, lustful men to dust. It must be a masterfully conducted masterpiece. Now blast your piece 108 times in the sky. I make rhymes that are higher than these fake times we live in. Slake minds with these rhythms that are dying in prisons. Vying in this system is hazardous like the wisdom of Nazareth's apostles. Their blasphemy in the gospels. There has to be a hostile takeover of religion. Stay sober and listen attentively. This is what you're meant to be. Wisdom in an entity incarnate for centuries. We've sparred Satan dementedly incarcerated and sparsely grazing partially serrated blades of grass from our monstrously shady past. It honestly wasn't made to last. Eternally we're shades of black. Nocturnally but under the sun we glow brighter. Sons of the slums and flow titans. Don't slumber, become a bold fighter. Grow nightly till you grow to the heights of rainforests. Escape the plights of insane torments. Let the rain flourish vegetations to nourish revelations in your soul with the patience of a golden goddess. Be bold in progress. Be bold in progress.
the earth, clothed in mud and dirt. Children of the desert and the trees we purged. Misunderstood, feared, haunted, and cursed. Deep in the occult and underground immersed. We invented ideas of God, we don't need your church. Hibernating under pyramids and dying in search. Rooting on sphinxes, exploding in emerald burst. Reading those tablets, we who possessed them first. Kept alive through antiquity by our sacred verses. The sands of time drift and absorb the stone. Water cuts through rock, but we alone remain. Atonement our campaign, cultivate the humane. Draw the reins of Pegasus as we approach the apocalypse. Sailing through the underworld with a choke around Severus. The list of the book of names which then come to life is just shredded tobacco I puff in my pipe. Children of the dawn, rise and meet your maker. Run your fingers through the hair of Andromeda's daughter. Lay in the sun till you propel towards the sky. Spiral like DNA, let your selfishness die. Infinity dances on the lashes of gods. Tickles your eyelids, gripping lightning rods. The day meets the night, night circles into day. They say it's inevitable, the body decays. Walk in the forest, find a reason to praise. Experiencing life, let your chi field raise. The empire of the sun, sarcophagus of the kings. The book of the dead, ziggurats and I Ching. The teachings of Lao Tzu's, Tao Te King and the Buddha. Dhammapada, Confucius and Triangle Bermuda. Wear a string of planets around my neck like a necklace. Quasars and black holes are on my wrist like bracelets. Inhabitants of all planets work to power my brain. Touchdown to earth, wings spread like a crane. The universe inside the ultimate sea's just a grain. There was a million other me's before the darkness came. Spreading confusion and repression, the reaction was chained. The disdain of forlorn children shaped the lion's mane. Ingrained the hopes of ages in the spellbooks of mages. Releasing revelations beasts from their heavenly cages. Take your positions in the middle without polarization. There's a congregation of chariots encircling the sun, spinning like galaxies guarding Enkidu's son. The run of marathon, wounded Achilles heel. Heal all nations with generosity, the tyrants kneel to the voice of something greater, the wake of slumbering giants. Man's highest aspirations live standing defiant. The earth and moon rise as the sky glows violet. Birds sail high and front the flames like a pilot. Transformed into ancient spirits, the spirits of tribes. Jaguar, shaman, spirit walk through infinite lives. Deep in the unconscious, in dreams he dives.
From the alleys of dim-lit taverns to the valley of the kings, we spit cavernous ink in writs ravenous, scripted on Saturn's rings against blasphemous things. Madness is akin to those who bask in sin. From the alleys of dim-lit taverns to the valley of the kings, we spit cavernous ink in writs ravenous, scripted on Saturn's rings against blasphemous things. Madness is akin to those who bask in sin. Still a long ways ahead of me, short days I'm dreading them more and more as I think of the end of them. I wish I could explore to the ends of this planet, this millennium. I wish I could escape its gravity, weighing down on my back and my cranium's cavities. Never made to be mastered, my craft is. So many didn't grasp it, came back at me centuries after to ask for favors I couldn't possibly grant them, other than to those who obviously never asked. Tlaloc's paradise is locked up, it's not for the masses. Neither of Viracocha's forgotten passages. Varanasi where my path ends, Gaia begins after. Wrought from within, a tear shot in my eyes, caskets dried softly by lacquered lashes before it backlashes and gashes blackened skin with salty crevices. Ruroni since conception, my only defeat rendered the bleak sun setting. 3 stars in one wedding, 3 days of stillness before each ascension. All beings are God's children. Demons in ancient days were guardian angels. So pardon my language, I'd rather spar with languages than war with Satan. He's the heart of many ancients' philosophies. Shiva creating the cosmos and Benares. Thomas to the Gnostics wasn't demonic, neither was Nephi to the Mormons, nor Anthony to the Coptics. Take them all out of context, that's a whole lot of problems. So we all walk over what's taught and over what's thought by bipartisans. I demolish them, Ali parts them like the giant on his horse as Muhammad taught him. Peace be upon them, read scripts then defy them with honesty. The way of the samurai is honor and loyalty. I watch over all virtues and preserve them. Mournfully blue skinned like the sun's reflections upon water drops assembled into new bodies. Emerald tinged in shallower parts, then darker in the presence of abyssal depths. Possessed by unlimited blessings, limitless in essence. Minerals replenish me, sidereal complexions like the cosmos. Cambio ad infinitum always. Siempre represento la días y la noche. Y nunca me olvide de Dios, de nadie. Y nunca me olvide de Dios, de nadie.
did he believe in?
In another race of beings from a different dimension. An earlier race superior to them. And he believed they could be brought back.
Check it, yo. What before the dawn of man's time and development, societies existed with a higher intelligence. Torrential downpours and cataclysmic wars left them in the forms of the giant skeleton, spines of the Nephilim. But religion was forged to hide the source behind doors that provided the evidence as it defies its authenticness. Releasing your mind's eye from the mental grips as you take flight in the abyss of time as dimension shifts. Projection is filtering your wisdom, concealing the knowledge. Its world is revealed in the system to keep you oblivious to the meaning of existence. Demons in depictions, interstellar space trekkers, Freemason faith sellers tell us that ancients were basically cave dwellers that used aerial relief maps with various deep dams which could only be built with civil engineering machine hands. From an era where Stegosauruses are meat man, concrete footsteps side by side, Phagomides and spikes used to forge shields and swords to defeat clans from rival sides. The relics left beneath sands but cataclysmic tides, ocean deteriorate mechanisms, engineering disappearing off the edge of existence as the years fade. We're forgetting the wisdom.
Anakims and Chitauris, how are we alone? The power of our domes is panicking. Our bones are mannequins. We were modeled after our cosmic masters. The stars is the path to the gods of the past. You can mark this and laugh as I blotch this and blast the other dimensions. Discovering densities of ancients, uncover them and sense it in these paintings. Rephaim, Anunnaki and Nephilim patrons. They birthed giants, some were cursed as tyrants. They lectured us and watched us before Mayans blessed prophets. Before science's breath was fathered, they blessed us with doctrine. Since the dawn of the planet, they've been conquering and planning. The blues and the grays, Vedic Aryans, Altarians, Agarians, Atlanteans, Bernarians, Saurians, Andromedans, and monsters of various species. Nearly breached 3 of our dimensions. We fear them as ETs, but their pretensions are mostly unknown. Some loners communicate with them and display wisdom, but we disbelieve them as stray misfits and blissful heathens. Yet we stay wishing we could establish contact. We map it in our songs and rap till the atlas is bombed and blackened. We long for the masses to grasp this massive evidence. No lack of precedence, crop circles and ancient wonders. Like Baalbek and Nazca, some plot to hurt you, some patiently wonder when we'll bow to their sects and gospels. Don't cower from the breasts of imposters. The most powerful Christians don't bow for their religion. They won't allow you to listen to Taoist wisdom. Their power is fiction. Their prayers are for on to enslave us as pawns. Their prayers are for on to enslave us as pawns.
Il existait autrefois, au cœur du grand océan appelé Pacifique, un empire, l'empire de Mu.
The lost continent of Lemuria's telepathically transmitted data, empirical, stacked up from Atlantis to Sirius. For those that manage to be curious in these panic-stricken, furious ages, curing you with pages of days in a maze like the gazes of sages. Were made of a substance agelessly combusting, rotating at such a speed you couldn't clutch or heed it. Like the touch of demons, affecting your every dream and action. Affections for the fiendish mask of their demeaning paths only leads to wrath. And if you seem to grasp it, it doesn't mean you're past it. Don't scheme and bask in your heathen past tense. Bask in the immensity and vastness of densities grasped through Gnostic and Akashic records. Lost prophets' perspectives view causes and effects as cosmic reflections of a never-ending cipher. Bars that perplex you forever like the endless heights, depths and breadths of the endless nights. And universes' expansions with antimatter and gravity. Like Rumi's verses of mansions with mantric ladders to galaxies. Truly versed answers to banters and fallacies of knavish apes with no soul. Slavishly made Homo sapiens with no more sapiens, just growing holes gaping. I'm flowing bold and patient, glowing like olden spaceships of Lemurian patrons. Sacred like Curian pages of Manchurian sages. To the curious gazers, from the purest to the basest. Be sure to be awakened by this law of ancients. If you're flawed, then change it, and be cured of all your hatred.
Looking down from space at this teeny globe, see God's halos dance around auroras, light shows at the poles. His beauty to behold, there's a hole into inner earth is hollow, follow those who know. Crystal pyramids below water margins on the Bermuda's triangles creates energy vortexes that powers vanished civilizations. Mother crafts for these ancient cities of past gone by. 3 wise men did cry. One day they will return for us, not them. Condemned men who create endless wars with poison pen strokes. Bankers keep humanity broke in perpetual servitudes. People don't want freedom, just content eating crumbs falling off devilish tables. Desperate words summon angels called calamity and disaster. Comes faster unless we try harder, loving one another.
Grâce à l'énergie du soleil qu'ils avaient réussi à maîtriser complètement, les habitants de la terre de Mu menaient une vie tranquille et prospère. À la même époque, une autre civilisation, celle de l'Atlantide, régnait au centre de l'autre océan, l'Atlantique. Les Atlantes, eux aussi, savaient contrôler la puissance du soleil, et ils avaient construit un puissant empire. Mais, un jour, la guerre éclata entre la terre de Mu et l'Atlantide pour une raison si insignifiante que l'histoire elle-même l'a oubliée. La guerre dura longtemps, de nombreuses années, car les forces des deux puissances étaient égales, jusqu'au jour où les hommes firent usage de l'arme solaire.
Mi nave más grande. Este es el turno del Planet, hacete el fuerte, Sidonia Nueva Papilón. No me hagas reír, baby, alone. De mi Milky Way, you out. My father ship, los planetas en red. En rojo mis planets, el tercer ojo Vision de Red Planets. Área 51 fue tomada por mi crew, manejada por el padre. Mi nave madre Venus, llevanos más allá de Marte.
En los infinitos mundos que le siguen. Así ven que la hermandad de X viene en nombre del bien. Experimenten el estado altamente alquímico del hombre más místico, que el cambio lo tomo para arrancarle, arrebatarle al miedo maniobras. Primer portal Red Planet, el segundo.
Este es el turno de mi nave madre amiga, y hay más que migas de pan. Estaba todo en orden hasta el tercer desastre nuclear.
Área 51 fue tomada por mi crew, manejada por el padre. Nave madre vení,
mi nave madre.
llévanos más allá de Marte. Mi nave madre abriendo portales dimensionales. Mi nave madre abre cualquier acceso restringido.
Planet, 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 Planet. rojo mi planeta, mi nave madre de Sidonia.
Over 300,000 years we've been inseminated by mountainous peers that desecrated the sacred house of our peers. Mars was a way station for spaceships refueling from hydrogen vapors. The ice of the ocean compressed and spliced to create photonic light. The face and the pyramids were the landing sequence. Span the secrets of this solar system, then you'll know this wisdom is accurate. We're missing and lacking bits, I'm backing them, hacking and decrypting scripts, passing it to kids so they can actually gift it to the next generations. Earth was the next destination, they settled it with gods and kingship. In every city of the Middle East, Egypt and India, we rebelled against their laws and convinced them to slaughter every citizen, from regents to simians. They've been breeding us for millennia, you can read of it but it's hidden and discredited, like alien races that visited us and dreaded to face us. We're debased as heathens and faceless demons, but we're ageless dreamers.
Mi nave madre amiga, Área 51 fue tomada por mi crew, manejada por el padre, nave madre vení. Mi nave madre, llévanos más allá de Marte. Mi nave madre abriendo portales dimensionales. Mi nave madre abre cualquier acceso restringido. Planet Sidonia. Red, rojo mi planeta. Mi nave madre de Sidonia.
Calmone dans le laboratoire de chimie, l'homme dans les mains de Neniti, expérimenté en lymphocytes. Dans la sphère biologique du mal d'écrire dans un site spatial de la Nunaki sur les plaines de Sidonia. Tomba du ciel jusqu'à l'ancien désert d'Utopia. Les dieux scientistes insufflant d'incantations et assistant au clonage homo sapiens à partir d'Erectus. Comme les nomos s'avancent dans une ombre de Cyrus. Transport à chaque unité de char, passage et de Shem dans le Nouscou Elohim. Du travailleur primitif à l'opium dans le jardin clos. Après le sang prélevé dans le tissu des os, sous la lumière établie à la porte des eaux. L'image d'Alalo sur l'amour, regarde en Nibiru. Si proche du centre, l'IA peu récréation pense spermique dans un bassin d'un pack Nergal avait son antre.
Mi nave madre, llévanos más allá de Marte. Mi nave madre, tercer ojo, vision, dar Planet Sidonia. Mi nave madre.
The first in the universe to transcend a genius verse on earth. They just imagine a sacred planet like the Venus Project. Everything is perfectly, truly blessed. I'm a celestial body moving in elliptical orbit around the star farther than Saturn, Mercury or Mars. Y'all stupider than those motherfuckers on Jupiter. I got your moon in Nibiru revolving upon my palms. This god is laughing hard. Evolve and meditate for 7,000 years straight. Word is born. Finally awake, externally listening to him who was holy. Immaculately speaking about a space odyssey, alchemy, the Milky Way galaxy, and astronomy's infinite mathematics. Mystic, esoteric, terrific, holographic, hypothetical, realistic, extraterrestrial. I knew a few metaphysical, spiritual immortals that transported into the beautiful Bermuda Triangle. Created a new invisible see-through portal eternal. Peace out, yo.
Mi nave madre amiga, Área 51 fue tomada por mi crew, manejada por el padre, nave madre vení. Mi nave madre, llévanos más allá de Marte. Mi nave madre abriendo portales dimensionales. Mi nave madre abre cualquier acceso restringido. Planet Sidonia. Red, rojo mi planeta. Mi nave madre de Sidonia.
Who are you? I manifest like the god Haru in all my Egyptian splendor, using Greek terminology for simplicity's sake. Make no mistake about it, your third eye vibrates like a rattlesnake's tail, shakes if it's not calcified and stiff. Your membership to godhood was a gift, has been declined until further notice. Epic fail, self must be refined along more divine lines. Who wrote this? Exorcise those evil beings who came down and mixed in. It's a DNA thing. Learn to read your own personality traits, manifesting as negative or positive polarity. War inverted becomes Mars, now left desolate by Hindu demons who wantonly destroy whole planetary systems. Murdering nirvana, here on earth we hurt so much, breathing poisonous chemical trails.
Alien races that visited us, sur les plaines de Sidonia.
stade monarchie sur les plaines de Sidonia.
The word is born, finally awake.
Stomping like a rhino through a desolate land. I wear the heads of animals to fight to strengthen my hand. Go to war naked, clothed and paint a rep for my clan. I am the crazy man, head to toe, covered in brands. I am an iron giant, Atlantean god standing defiant. Faced on circles of tyrants with the army aligned. Spitting science and mythology, physics and astrology. Your skills ain't real like cryptozoology. Wield the hammer of Thor, smash my fist through the floor. Fire core, bust through doors, swinging samurai swords. In accord with the Assassin's Creed, I take what I need, leave what I don't. You're a liar saying you will when you won't. Selling Vermont is shining bright, fill your clan with fright. You prima donnas don't rhyme tight, can't even lyrically fight. I'll blind your sight like an eclipse, go on stare at the sun and load your verbal clips right, or I've already won.
The jagged edge of war swords, an ancient warlord who's war-born like the old Kai of Mordor. Your floorboards are weak and feeble, like the people equal to those who speak with evil. A demon sheep will feel the sound when they drum, their feet pound into the ground when they come. An uncanny crew of superhumans who spit flames, leave you covered in split brains and shit stains. A big game hunter in search of prey to feed. Learn the pain and hunger, but first the way to be. I blaze trails into the future when praise fails. A snitch tale of a carpenter who hates nails takes you to a place in time long forgotten, where the alliance of men was wrong or rotten. How strong it's gotten through space and time makes a mind so divine you can break your spine.
I enlighten with rhymes, write with a lion's might, and light up your mind and your pineal. Signs revealed with a divine yield. I'm a Jane, I watch for insects when I walk, but I'm strange. I'll chop your slim neck while I talk with an Asian Coptic princess. My sword is Prajna, I slaughter and rebirth. I'm a lord like Atma, I'm water from peak's birth. I speak cursive, breathe and nurture the beast of the earth. It's ghosts and fauna, in osmosis with flora. I roast you upon a stick if you soullessly flaunt riches. Then I feed you to those that you taunted with them, and haunt you with wisdoms forgotten, like elven begotten realms. I drop these spells on your crops like freezing hell. The blotch of decrees and tells, drop on your knees and well, and seize the jail that entraps you. Collapsing and see the rapture, collapsing and see the rapture. Hear this, let your ears list, blessed with sheer bliss. Peer into the rifts of universal expansion. I verse you like the lantern of Osiris against the curses and banters of tyrants. I search for the answers of Mayans and enchanted scions. Let bygones be bygones. I strike like pythons and cobras with sober venom for opponents. Send them to the coldest ends of the earth's recesses. Then breathe blessed hearth as flames upon them. Tame the monsters in their brain's subconscious. Strange how I conquered pain in the hells of my selves, endowed with onyx and jade's elemental properties, sonically displayed on my mental oddities. Turn them into sane hymns, churn them with my brain stem into plain gems. I waded across the vast ocean of space, made it to a cosmic draft and coasted pace till the last motion subsided, then glided through constellations faster than opium smoke blasted in a glass tope. It's crazy, but I may be a last hope. While you're dazing and you gasp, choking, I'm past potent. Ask for a token and bask in the potion. I profit to you to box with the awkward voodoo of slave masters. You're grazing in grey pastures like knavish and wrathful players. The path I paid for you is royal. It wanders through galaxies unspoiled by the fallacies yonder before you. Ponder all your loyal friends that toil to mend your broken hopes and dreams. Instead of dope and fiends, scope the scenes in your mind's eye. Climb the skies to uncharted spaces. In the darkness of space, guided by the starlight and farsight, I provide you with insight. You've been quite neglectful. You'll get what you expect if you're fretful. Forgetful minds vie for what's left as time flies. Till the death of me, I'll be rhyming rhyming these recipes, chiming on these blessed beats, line by line, as I etch these feet, stretch these feet into yogic positions, as I rest and sleep, atoning for my sinning. I notice it's beginning to weigh upon my conscience, straying in this land of lost men and monsters. I'm forced to be zen and conquer the forces that tempt me on within an empty genre, devoid of compassion, hope and freedom. I'm slashing and choking these demons as they gnash and cope with my meanings. I passionately wrote these gleanings for the masses to devote their dreams to these quotes and readings. Smoke this and breathe in. Smoke this and breathe in.
With the powers from the ancestors, we've been smoking but grieving while society working on slavery. Believe me, I'm a victim to this type of breeding. We've been deceived ever since our earth received our breathing. Born into a world of demons, I'm angelic derivative for the protection of our species. Targeted bacterial infections in my surrounding, even if it's causing internal bleeding. Sacrifice my life for this illusion illustrated in the metaphysics conclusion, consumed with the Illuminati's abuse. Observe the nonsense and nuisance of pathological endorsements portrayed in the oceans. My importance necessary to spread the words from the divine realm, traveling through the regions. My equations are taken from religious and scientific measures. I portray the one and only. For calculations to walk, you have to remember individual lessons and constances. No one is a monster, only behaviors can cause this. My spark encouraging power to you, restore our generation destroyed. You can look within you, find your heart and your soul, the site of the construction, not only in the physics. How you plan to represent your every move, unlock the leash, you see. Our aim is to target, but not like the police. They shaitan department. We the people, heavenly prophets, peaceful subject of our existence. Multidimensional, how well will you be remembered in this system? Testing your own faith.
Trek past plains and vast plains, blessed with ash and rain. My past is strange, but I'll master the pain. Like back in the days, start acting amazed at life. On a path where you stray from strife. Ahimsa, non-violence is the principle. Beyond the islands of invincible divinities, be centered in symmetry with centuries of symphonies. You're meant to be in synergy with densities, energies. From Gaia to Andromeda, the skies, astronomies beckon thee. Reckon the lies in Deuteronomy's lessons. Rise above the promise of messages. They sonically bless you with the oddity of Jesuits who ought to be celestially fit for this odyssey. You're blessed and gifted, but you probably forget what your gift is. They left you with bitter laws of death and promised you little more than breath. Eternally praising a creator that'll burn you in braziers and murder you lest you serve him and praise him. But there's limitless gods. Don't be limited and lost. Your vision is fogged by a prison of dogma. Envision it and dodge the jinns and mirages. The goddess is your hearth. She fostered you from birth. Never stray from this divine knowledge. Praise her and find solace unending, which is based in truth. Tend to your faith in you and have faith in youth. Escape this coop. They raise you and breed you like animals, then slay you and feed on you like cannibals. All sentient beings are born equal, but senses deceive you with forms of evil. We're sworn to be peaceful. We're meant to be leaders in this century. We're all avataras, taras and maras, yet good and evil invert so you can see through the curses. We reap the hurts of the people that nurse us. Be meek, let your worth be a secret. Seek your purpose deep in the earth's deepest recesses. Then breathe lessons to your kindred. Please don't let them be hindered by elitist threats. They'll reap winter when they meet their deaths. I speak possessed, but it's not by demons or devils. Yet I need them to meddle with me sometimes to lift me to the sunshine. One rhyme is a quasar, blinding in the shade's darkness. Stay in hearken to my writs. I offer them with wit like my wrists and palms. When I press and bond them to cast away the shadows as the night screams. I have to stay in the gallows, or so it might seem. Straying in hallowed pipe dreams will only make you shallow. It won't enlighten your deeds, it won't enlighten your seeds either. You breathe ether from the third density. My words' immensity is likened to none, like herbs and sensi to a lichen in the sun. I heighten you with puns, word to your NC. Ask him what he can do, ask him what he truly knows from within. His duty is to show you your sin and debase you in the face of a god. Disgracefully odd in actions and requisites. They bask in the best of it and ignore the half that's the rest of it. I'm sorry if I cast him in a desolate fashion. I guess it just happened that way. I fast and pray, and when I eat, I'm conscious of my feast. When I speak, there's conscience in my feet. I'm conquering the beast with my thoughts on paper. Honest in my speech, it's all gone to vapor. But etheric templates preserve it. It carries through empty space as you heard it. It's sent through a maze of supernally immense caves, till it furthers the densities of sages and serves them for centuries and ages. But for the moment, I only search for atonement. Hone my skills on a lonely hill, purposefully waiting for the churches of Satan to finally be toppled like the lying in the Gospels. I'm crying in a hostel of injustice in a ghost town of trustless low frowns. I'm cussing, I know now that Lady Justice is blind. Slow down and pray, trust and you'll find a way to restore her sight with a ray of glorious light. There's a stray door in the night. There's a stray door in the night. My life is a long odyssey of righting the wrongs I possibly made, with gospels displayed like thoughts in the shade. I wrought them like blades 1,000-fold, get caught in their maze. They house the souls of lost civilizations. I went from foul to noble, now my goal is a Tao of golden ages. The glows and pages I scripted. I may be a misfit, but lately I wish that more people would play this and listen. Wars, evils versus sages and mystics. There's more sequels, but we're dazed in the distance, crazed and enlisted in aiding this sickness that's spreading into a global epidemic. The noble and the wretched, the soulless and the blessed, battle for control over the heavens, total dominion or cosmic destruction. The causes and repercussions are complex, you mustn't miss the context. Something is amiss in the Psalms text. Even in the higher spheres, heathens lie and jeer. They admire their peers, but they'll die with their fears and lie in a bear eternally, while we nocturnally chart space and verbally spar fakes. God's mistake is what caused our fate. The jaws of the snake weren't venomous, they were meant to dodge and break the laws of hatred that confined us. To this day they bind us. Religion is a tool of oppression. We're blind to the lust of their rulers' aggression. Repression and depression entrap us, they'll eventually collapse us inside if we don't slash through the lies. It's do or die, and we're the last of a dying breed, like Scarface trying to reach the Stargate and activate the portal. This passive state's deplorable. Blast through the hatred and teach the stargates as children. There's trillions of farscape civilians just waiting to escape their cesspools. faith is a blessed jewel, since it holds no dominion over wretched fools. She holds soldiers and minions of the oppressor's tool, like religion is. Envision it to bless in school those that are missing this, bereft of clues and throwing hissing fits. The mission is to open their minds with hope defined as a sculpture of phonemes. I sculpted my throne in this no man's land I was thrown in. A nomad landed in his homeland. Now I roam the sands of time and expand the minds of mankind with my poem strands. Chant Om and span the dark skies. Let the stars guide us, part the lies of apartheidists. Rise to Jannat and Zion, tie their flocks alliance, and mark the tidings of this lot of tyrants cursing the earth. I rebirth them with verses. It's my worth and my purpose. It's my worth and my purpose. I rebirth them with verses.
The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function. The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function.
The psychic scrolls, the friend in me when I fight the foes. A fighting pose is the enemy when the mic is froze. Poetry and lightning prose, catching fire, igniting flows. The blackest of ravens in flight might be pros, and unlikely chose. It sends bold and the fate would follow. The feeling revenge cold and then make you swallow. Gigabyte after bite, just like pages of parchment. Harking night after night, just enrages the heartless. The unknown is fear, and it starts with the darkness. The spark from this artist, his art is the carcass. The beautiful death of a master strike when you pass the mic. The blast of spikes into your afterlife and pass your wife. It all flashes before your eyes as if it was written. Man talks to the dead, then bites your head off a chicken. Forbidden scribe by the brave on the side of a cave. Turn the tide of the praise to the mind of the slave.
The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function. The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energy for everyday function.
I script this on clay tablets, praying fast through the madness. Gaze at atoms, stray past them. Ancient master reincarnated as a being born from hatred and love. I've paced above like a graceful dove and brought back their teachings. We were taught blackness is evil, but that's just deceitful. Black is light, the cosmos is actually blackness, despite the microfraction of matter whose mass is blackness alike. So the universe is no self like Buddha. There's no hells, no rudras, no tells, no sutras, no mudras, just floating illusions. We're ageless dreamers, our imaginations are seamless, infinite and beaming in all directions, creating all of conception. Believe it, you were blessed to be everything and nothing in one. You're the dust from the sun.
The scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function. The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function. Pyramids and obelisks, weird forms of power plants, inspired by our ancestors' maps and spirit trance. Implants in the scroll allowing telekinesis. and strange abilities which spawned in Genesis. The shores of lost continents, the chatter of souls resonate inside my head from heavenly abodes. The dawn of a new day, the sun explodes. Footsteps on a beach where nobody knows. White tunics as clothes, the sea in its throes. Their sighting of scrolls, potions dealt out in bowls. High-tech irrigation, watering every plantation. No social segregation or sex degradation. Lessons finally learned to live our lives harmoniously, instead of repeating the same mistakes erroneously. The sun above shines down the wisdom of gods towards the right direction, invites and prods. The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function. The psychic scrolls of thought from 50,000 BC were handed down from mind to mind through numerous dynasties, documenting ancient mysteries and forms of construction, how to harness energies for everyday function.
cosmic star codes, mossy stick bog pits, unlocked karmic rifts, spar heartless foes, refract blackness like galactic holes to the ghastly and soulless, accosting a frosty ship full of bastard ghosts, frost mother is lost without walking an inch. Y'a personne qui nous voit, on va défaire des tonnes de goulag. Too swift and too quick, gruesome winds whipping, but our mood is exception. Si tu viens d'air qui croit à coup, tu viens de perdre tous tes atouts. We spew with a death wish, bring views with weapons imbued with the sentience infusing our essence. Supervillain humans like MF, doomed to all ignorance and non-existence. We reincarnate deathless, bloom and blossom from tombs awesome like the gardens of Akasha and fruits of all knowledge. We are all God and goddess, not part and parcel. We are all of the cosmos. We are all of the cosmos.
Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight for the people. See demons claiming God and angels mocked as the devil. Create in our minds with the force of God. Weapons manifested to fight the great fraud. Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Fight the great fraud, fight the great fraud. Walking through the gates of hell, there's only demons there. Bound by fear, stealing targets you where saints and monks appear. Evil is the absence of life, despite the rough. You can float to the above with the wings of a sacred dove. If you choose the path of devil's wrath, accept the coming bloodbath. My paragraph encases the key to all secret spaces, erases definitions and put you in peak positions. Imprisons inhibitions to act on your good intentions. So spark a light and become a fighter for righteous cause. Swinging bare paws, paying no heed to unrighteous laws. Satan's claws rake at the backs of true activists, but they do not obsist. Only where overstand and persist. Read my bloody lips, put down your clips and pick up books. Educate and fight the hate, spread your message through verse and hooks. Poly crooks, blood-sucking bankers and oil tankers. Cash your checks in hell, I'll send them ASAP through mail. Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight for the people. See demons claiming God and angels mocked as the devil. Create in our minds with the force of God. Weapons manifested to fight the great fraud. Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Fight the great fraud, fight the great fraud.
Like a bat out of hell, a prison out of a cell. The free world stinks, but I doubt of the smell. The stench of death here replaced with a pungent sage. A dungeon slave, the victim of abundant rage. It seeps in, then attached to the mind. Comes back through the twines, then snaps to the spine. The backbone stands for honor and dignity. Trash poems planned to ponder a symphony. Conquering history is the way of the wise. Plausibly meant to be the day of the guys. Eyes wide open, the tide, but mind closed. Your spine froze by divine, the time knows. Mine, though I got this rock shit to stop. Think you hot shit, but you can process to stop at the topic of prophets, the gates of hell. The stories warriors won't wait to tell.
Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight for the people. See demons claiming God and angels mocked as the devil. Create in our minds with the force of God. Weapons manifested to fight the great fraud. Yes, we walk through the valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Valley of death, fight the valley of death. Fight the great fraud, fight the great fraud. Fight the great fraud, fight the great fraud.
Bells as a sorcerer spells, forces hells upon thee, pale zombies stalk your stale army and impale them calmly. I walk in a hell of imposters, held agnostic braille postulates assail you like mosh pits, trample you like elephants and ants. You advance and relish the cancerous celibate dances with the tails of lobsters, embellishments tantric as you meld with monsters, build with a roster of skilled lost children fostered by ill doctrines. Still Akashic, but I dwell in the darkness, in hell with the godless, telling the goddesses tales and odysseys. Frail oddity, failed commodity, for I am not for sale. Oddly, in this male chauvinistic cell we call a bardo, they all have a barcode. I brawl in spark nodes, call the Ark of Noah and walk it afloat on the darkest coast of a heartless ocean. Cosmic potions to guard us from ghosts and marksmen toting and sparking potent cartridges for a soulless carnage. I roast them with what my art begets, hardly a threat to most men. I ghost them, harness their nexus, turn them into yogis with no sleep, no meat and no odors, churn them like a lotus concoction. I flow roses then burn them so it flows to your nostrils, nodes of oxygen. My flow is impossible, growing like lost and forgotten gospels, slowly and awesomely unfolding, choking carnivorous hosts. I am the karmic source, omnipotent, calmly toting an omniporous boulder. I thrust it upon you boldly in the cold breeze. You're lowly with no heat and cold feet as it bursts into flames, irradiating and versing your brain. You're cursing in vain because you're hurt from the pain you nurture inside you. Your worst rival is your ego. Breathe slow and let mirth guide you. Search the Bible's apocalypse and apocryphal begotten scripts, the path of a mystic from the wrath of a miscreant misfit, listless, misinterpreted as worthless and sadistic, cursed and dissed by the earth's dismissal. My purpose is to lift you, get you to search like missiles, heat seeking, breathe deeply then speak freely like ETs with telepathy as a weaponry to breed peace and empathy. We've been greed demons for centuries. There's repeats and precedents, but weed leaves and prescience can teach people with messages like deep sleep and subliminals. There's meek sheep and there's sentinels. I'm retweaking the decibels. This is a sneak peek from my retinas. Cynics and mimickers, critics and gimmickry. This shit is ridiculous. I spit it meticulous, vivid and intricate calligraphy, acidic and sensual wizardry, drifting in this density's misery. No propensity for lizard dreams, the biggest schemes from bigoted fiends. Envision the gleanings, stay focused like demons on Ritalin, of beings that are glittering. What you seeing is but a stray opus I'm delivering. So gaze at hope, blaze some dope, or just bathe in both. I'm a pagan ghost, raising a toast to the rays that glow and emanate from the host. A blessed Asian and black goddess, destination back to Godhead, destination back to Godhead. Om tare tutare, ture soha trei pei. Om tare tutare, ture mama sarva ranza dushen droda shindam kurusoha. Shindam kurusoha.
We gods bring war like thunder to the gate of his majesty, fighting patriarchy and all spiritual travesty. Movement of our lips creates the thunder you hear. Synchronized sonic booms will transmit to your ear. We disappear and reappear as glowing spheres. In a moment, transport you 1,000,000 light years. Fight the interference of insincere appearance, bringing new coherence to the game with adherence. To detailed subject matter that's more than mere patter, offering insight to help avert the coming disaster. Shatter comfort zones and shine a mirror, exposing your every darkness, lust and fear. We are the sheer wrath of karma, bloodbath to bombard you with light beyond your blinders, glad to force it upon you. Hexagonal strength, my lexicon at length, bear weight like an arch and the tongue like a tank. Crank the volume and blast off like the spark of a Molotov. Climb the highest peak and don't stop to the top. Reach the precipice and become one of the nexus. Go beyond all limits till you reach the cosmogenesis and final exodus of space and time. Propel to outer limits in realms sublime. Reveal your highest self and become the sign to show the blind the light through the medium of rhyme. Cosmic stained glass, organic steeple, holiness inside you and ignorant evil. The fight that never ends till you exit samsara. Omani Padme from the brightest star.
We exist in the midst of the north in a blistering fortress. We dwell in the bliss of forces from distant morphogenetic mixtures. We're orphans of religion in this distorted system. All we know is within, no scripture molded from men's intentions could show you your sins. We glow in the dim coldness of the soulless pits. We roam in search of souls amiss with golden writs of olden wisdom. It's all intrinsic, the call of the mystics. March in the distance and watch as assistants. We watch the stars' imprints with cosmic eyes. Wrought the thoughts you despised into gorgeous skies. Washed by forgotten tribes, lost like Mayan predecessors. What we read in lectures, breeze life into specters of trees righteous. With breezes likened to the cheese brightness. We seize the mic like a scepter. Mic interceptors fighting with the mesmer's might. And the intensity of a lichen, the density of no known likeness. No clone biter could recite this accurately. Split second striking with the tongue slicing the rungs of my verbals, the tongues of my neural imprints. Stunned like Isis in full garb. Photonic pulsars glow far, so far by the time you watch them. This whole cosmos' design is forgotten.
Stained glass, organic steeple, holiness inside you and ignorant evil. The fight that never ends till you exit samsara. Omani Padme from the brightest star.
On the blackest night comes the darkest magic. Our tactics are tight, though the start is tragic. Had it not been for the spike on top of the steeple, the evolution of sight might just stop with the people. The equal of evil is real and truly lethal. Peaceful and deceitful with unruly upheaval. My aura shines bright in the setting of the sun. A glorified night in the shredding of the tongue. Have a taste of blood on the crusade of the truth. In the wake of the flood, I spent 2 days in the booth, recording song after song on the microphone of a psycho clone. How long till I might go home? This is a place crawling with demons and snakes. The dreamscape is sprawling, though it seems I'm awake. Believing a trace of evidence that was heaven sent. Benevolence of the malevolence in present tense. The past is gone and leaves nothing behind. The believer's deceived and needs something sublime. One thing the mind conceived and chose a holy war. Slow rolling roar, the horsemen roll only for a lonely tour. Through these screams march in a wasteland. The future where machines are just starting to hate man. A great plan trash when the comet came past. An atomic brain blast on the cosmic stained glass.
Cosmic stained glass, organic steeple, holiness inside you and ignorant evil. The fight that never ends till you exit samsara. Omani Padme from the brightest star.
Run, 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 like a circle in a spiral. Run, like a circle in a spiral.
Unity in our communities, immunity from truth, spewing and imbuing us with dubious truths with impunity. This is lunacy, beauty is booby trapped, and duty is truly backwards. We're lacking in mastery, black magic, bastards thesis with acts tragic. The cast is devious, we act masterful, but lack of heed the mass practice. Ghastly tactics, it's time for decompression. Unwind and believe the message, none mind it, but we bleed from lesson deeds and demons meeting speeches fiendish. I'm breeding legions, peaceful when speaking eugenics. I teach my nemesis and peacefully apprentices. Corruption in speakers' sentences, gushing and leaking dementedness. Substances breaching sentience. I construct these speeches with secret penmanship, like the secret teachings of the ages. Meet the beastly with the seeds and breezes of the sages. Politricking, technological, horrid fictions, like the horrors of the laws of England at war with Indians. Indigenous scriptures missing. We reconstruct data with fractionally combusted atoms, fractally luscious patterns. Corrupted madmen couldn't actually muster a fathom. The lust of Adam was the cusp of his madness, but Eve believed in the deeds of Ea. He seeded the tree and breathed her freedom. We mustn't pass the blushing masters. Deeds of heathens, a gust of blackness in the dusk of caverns, faster than the son of Saturn. Galactic slums with guns for ransom. In regions with sunsets glummer than dungeon mantras. In regions with sunsets glummer than dungeon mantras.
Run, like a circle in a spiral. Run, like a circle in a spiral. Run, like a circle in a spiral. Run, like a circle in a spiral.
Psilocybin spirals in the third iris. Malicious tyrants taking over like a virus. Black hole silence behind my eyelids, swallows them up into the void and spits them out like an asteroid. They destroyed and pillaged independent villages, exploited resources to put them on the grid. Presidents that treat their residents like cattle, implementing fear to saddle up for the savage battle. They let us up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, against the current, and now the state of our planet's urgent. Police submerging, our heads under the water, commence a self-destructive slaughter, and justify it through the Father's name. But don't say it in vain. Acid rain will rain down on desert plains. Alien remains contained up in the Vatican. They keep it secret so that we don't know what's happening. Astral traveling, communicate with Nephilim through the stargates, merging primates with snakes, collecting data from the hybrid DNA to make a superhuman race, the perfect slaves to assist in their planetary domination. Intergalactic satanic congregation, manipulate the information, construct the matrix. What?
Durban, South Africa. Yeah. Check this out now. Hey yo, homunculus little man. No nigga in the building, bigger than the serpent bearer. Constellation shaped like a snake with feathers. I'm Quetzalcoatl, also known as Dothan. I told you about Atlantean civilizations under the oceans. As you can see, I'm in the sea and I'm coasting. Ambiguation is equivocal. Look at nature like a tree I'm growing to have psychoactive qualities. Never met a rapper that's wild as me. Goes do UFOlogy, the attributes of a Q, truly astonishing.